Good morning. Happy Thursday after FFDC. FFDC in 2024. So I hope you guys enjoyed all of the new features released by FlutterFlow. In Tuesday of this week, I was I was ecstatic, man. I was so happy with a lot of the announcements from the FlutterFlow team. I know they're working super hard on implementing those things, implementing a lot of really cool features that actually help us build faster. Like even the AI implementation, I think that's such a more intuitive process that will help us build, right? Like finishing actions, finishing a page for a form, all of these things. Those are so helpful as you're actually building, right? I don't need. I'm a designer. I'm a decent designer. I like sort of designing stuff in FlutterFlow. I don't need it to do everything for me. But what I would love for it to do is to do all the dumb tedious work for me. So creating a form and even creating half a form and then saying, hey, I need all of this and for it to complete, I am excited about that. I'm also excited about all of the action types. Abhishek, good to meet or good to have you on the live stream. I saw you. I'm pretty sure it was this Abhishek I saw on the live stream for FFDC. It's going to be super fun. So yeah, I just wanted to give some of my thoughts on FFDC, and I'm going to dive into just live building a web application in FlutterFlow, just web layouts. I think one of the largest or one of the smallest announcements of FFDC, but one of the best announcements in my opinion, is the new Flex widget. I'm really hoping this Flex widget works very similar to a Flex widget in HTML and CSS, which just says, hey, all of the children in this Flex widget will expand to its full width when it's horizontal, and then it'll just like fill in everything for the children. So no code BTech 5.0 will launch next week. I will go over some of the features. I have beta access, so yeah, I'll build some of the things, but I won't explore too much. Please watch the FFDC keynote. Abel and Alex do an excellent job of announcing the features. And again, I'm ecstatic, man. The Flex widget. I've asked for the Flex widget for 2 years now, and so to see it come to reality, or hopefully come to reality next week, is going to be super exciting. And then, oh man, what else? Libraries. Can't freaking wait for libraries. I think and dependencies, dev environments. At Kaleo Design, we're in the process of building 4 applications, right? Currently, right now, actually 6 applications currently. We have 8 applications we've already built this year, and some of those are launched into the market. And so all of our clients are asking, what about dev environments? We have to have tests, we have to have prod, we have to have staging, all of these things. And now you can create dev environments in FlutterFlow, which is going to be sick. All right, this helps us as teams launch production ready applications because we can now have a testing environment for new changes, which is amazing. I mean, FlutterFlow team, kudos. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. It helps us, again, build scalable applications that we can test and iterate on, because that's the beauty of FlutterFlow, right? I love what Will said, speed, right? Speed can be an asset, but speed can also set us apart. It can actually slow us down. We think, oh, AI can do this and AI can do that, and we're like, oh yeah, but really it's a framework that you need. AI is sort of a piece of the framework. So building applications has never been let's just say what we want and it automatically appears. Doesn't even happen with humans, right? There's always a process. There's designers, there's project managers, there's developers, there's scoping, there's feature requirements, all of these things. AI is not going to eliminate all of those things. AI will eliminate some of those things, and AI will amplify the use of other things. I saw some doomsayers on the live stream, like, oh, we can draw to component now. My job is pretty much obsolete. If you think like that, then yes, your job will be obsolete. If you think like that. But if you don't think like that and you have a positive mindset, right? Like, we are builders. All we do is build, right? And if you give us a tool, we'll learn how to build with the tool. And you allow us to utilize the tool properly, we will expedite our workflow and be able to accomplish more things in less time. That's the beauty and the benefit of AI, right? That's how we should utilize AI. That's how you should utilize FlutterFlow. Period. If you're not utilizing FlutterFlow like that, then don't build apps, or you shouldn't, right? Like you should utilize FlutterFlow not out of a lack of skill or knowledge, but of a overflow of ambition, skills, and intuition. By that I mean, like, I don't know how to code, right? I do have a lack of knowledge in that. But I do have the understanding of how apps work and how designs work and how user experiences affect and how user experience affects user interaction. So now I'm empowered to utilize FlutterFlow to build out applications that I would have never been able to do before, right? If you, I'll share it. I'm gonna bring up a tweet. Bring up a tweet because this is a Dan Petty. Okay, Twitter. There's a famous designer, right? He's probably like the GOAT designer on Twitter. And he mentioned something yesterday, which I've been saying for a couple, like a couple years. But it's fun to see, more popular people, um, more knowledgeable people say the exact same things, right? They sort of they affirm your assumptions, right? It's my assumption that design engineer should be a more popular, more popular term, right? And so here, Dan Petty, you may have known him. He works for Nike. I mean, all sorts of places. You can go to his profile right here, right? Like, let's see, he's a Webflow expert, founder of Epicurus. He's been designing for probably 20 years. He is, the OG when it comes to design. He has a very big voice in the design community, and he says right here, design engineer. It'll be a hot new title in 2025. And I'm all like, yes, this is what I said in 2023, which is good that we can now launch this because that's what FlutterFlow allows us to do. And all these no-code tools, or sorry, visual development platforms. They're not really no-code, they're visual development platforms, right? And if you think about them as no-code tools, like you dive into FlutterFlow and you think of it as a no-code tool, you're going to be disappointed because it's not for the faint of heart, for sure. But that's why we do this live stream. That's why um, we want to express education and produce education and more of it. So yeah, I wanted to dive in. It's been a long time. I've been building out like really practical things in FlutterFlow, or at least I think so, and sort of complex use cases and the complexity of logic, conditional builders and stuff like that in FlutterFlow. But I just wanted to build a beautiful design. I just wanted to build like maybe a web app design, like a dashboard design. I see a lot of really beautiful things on Dribble, and I just want to show you that it's possible to actually rebuild those things in FlutterFlow. So when you grab something, when your designer sends you something, there was just a post on community like, oh, I don't know how to do this, drawer UI. And it's a very simple thing to do in FlutterFlow, but the knowledge to implement those things is lacking. So I want to help disperse that information. Let's see. No code B Tech. Jobs are possible without degree in software development. Company experience developer mentioned in resume. Yeah, I mean, dude, degrees are an antiquated form of education validation and employment validation. I'm sorry. I've said this for 10 years after I got my degree. I love my degree, learned a lot. Didn't really help me get a job anywhere. My design career is totally self-taught. Same thing with Dan Petty. I'm pretty sure he was like self-taught. There's a lot of design engineers. I worked in admissions at a creative school, so they did software engineering, they did game design, culinary stuff, and it was a for-profit school, so they had stats on who earned the most, right? And in their software development department, the people that earned the most were not the people that finished their degree. The people that earned the most were the people that went to school for a year, dropped out, and got jobs. Period. Because it showed that they had initiative, right? They were able to learn the basics of computer engineering, computer science, and then they were able to go and get a job, right? The people that stayed in school were sort of fearful of trying to complete things and they have all of these things that are terrible in founders and employees in general. They have fear. Fear is the killer of all joy. Fear is the killer of all your success because you won't do that thing. You won't move forward. You won't implement something because you're fearful that, you'll get criticized or it will fail. Um, Leave that stuff behind you. Dive right in. Learn how to build. Learn how to design. All of these things are beneficial for you and your career. So awesome. I don't have a co-host today, so I may, when you guys are posting in the chat, if I don't see it, please forgive me. I will try to. I'm gonna quit this one, and I'm gonna bring up my beta builder, and we will try to go. Oh, it's okay. Okay. Right. Let's see. I'm just going to share my entire screen over here, and we're going to build something beautiful. So I'm going to just jump in to Dribble. Let's go ahead and see what we want to build, right? Because if you like any designer, right, they're going to. This is where I go first. I come here, right? I get requirements from a customer. Sort of, we analyze what's needed in the application, right? And most things are pretty typical, right? You need a list, you need a navigation element, you need a bunch of table views in a web application. Maybe you need some segmented views, where you see a little bit of information. So this guy, Isaac Sanchez, if you guys don't follow him, follow him. He's an incredible designer. I've really loved what he's been doing recently. And I actually just want to showcase how you can build, again, you're going to have to hire Isaac to design for you. So hire Isaac to design for you. He's available for work. But I'm going to show you how you can actually implement this stuff into FlutterFlow, right? Just as an example. So all the design is from Isaac. Please, I'm not going to even share this design. It's Isaac's. So I'm going to show you that you can implement this stuff into FlutterFlow though. And thank you so much. I really do appreciate all of the champions, all of the FlutterFlow champions. I'm very, very happy to be included in that group. They're an incredible group that have been around since the very beginning. They've done they just do amazing stuff. They always have, right? They've always helped the community do amazing things. So I'm super excited. Okay. So this design that we're choosing is actually a modal. So it's going to be a component. So I'm going to just do component, add component, and I'm going to start from blank. And I'm going to say, modal user details. Oh, this is going to actually be great because when you're building web applications, or at least for me, dude, I build the exact same thing every single time. It's like, okay, we have an admin panel, we have a side navigation, we have a list view of users, we have details of users, right? And maybe the fields are a little different per project, but generally it's the same, right? Role, name, avatar, email, activity, filtered activity, whatever it could be, right? It could be jewelry orders, it could be coffee notes, it could be work order tickets, whatever have you. So we're going to start with a container. So that's going to be our little guy. And what we're going to do is we're going to set a width of this to 800, and we'll also set a height just so that we can see it. And I'll sort of increase my view here. I will also set some padding on this, 16, and some border radius of 12. I'm going to add an alternate border here. This is just going to help in dark mode to sort of set it apart from the background. And then you're also going to see that, so here, right, you can see the edge right there. So great, just a container. See how easy that is. Again, for those that already build in FlutterFlow, you guys know how easy this is. Joseph, good to have you here. Thank you for joining. And then we have, again, I'm just going to continually show you what we're building so that we can put this together. Okay, so we have probably a tab bar or choice chips up here. We have an X over here, but if you had to break this down to the bare minimum, of layout, you're going to have a row, right? We need a row to begin with because we have a section over here and then a section over here. Okay. So this is going to be, we're going to have a row so we can stack things horizontally, and then a column here, and then probably a stack here if we want this X, and then tab bar and all sorts of good stuff. All right. So let's do that. So we're going to start with a small row there, and then I'm going to actually put uh, I'll put a column here, and then I think we have a vertical divider. We'll do that. Yep, that's perfect. And is there any, oh, you know what? We're not going to do a vertical divider because we don't have any way. I guess we already have a implied height on this container. So maybe we decrease this to like 700. I guess that works. We can do that. 700. So FlutterFlow did announce that we would be able to have more things from variable, right? We can define more dynamic values. So all of this line divider stuff should be from variable, right? I'm really hoping that we do flex and expansion from variable, right? Like on desktop, I want it expanded. On mobile, I don't want to expand it, something like that. But I'm super excited about the new flex widget. So, okay, so um, we have a little column here, and we could wrap this in a little container so we can apply some width to it. Looks like 300 or so. There you go. And we don't have to do that. We could do we could just make this flex. So I'm going to do a tab bar here. Right over there. Nice. Okay. And on this divider, I'm going to set the width to 1. All right. Cool. All right. Well, if we design in a light mode, um, looks like we are pretty close to the layout functions of this design. Okay. Right here. So we're just going to continue. And we're going to say tab bar. Now, the beautiful thing, one of my favorite updates, which was like a while ago now, but was this the updates to the tab bar. This was like, it was so good. I love this update. The ability to change it, just not only an indicator, but a button or a toggle button, right? These are little things that just really speak to my designer soul. Um, and I'm going to say scrollable. So what this does, when it does scrollable, it'll say, hey, the tabs will take up the smallest amount of space, right? If it's not scrollable, then it'll take up the full width. So if you have 2, it'll be like expanded, 1, expanded, 3, expanded, etc. And this isn't really the design we want, but it'll help get us there. So we want 16, we want 8, 16, and 8. And then if we come up to label padding, we can set our padding here. Perfect. And then there in Isaac's design, he actually has the selected element be just like a light gray, and then these guys be white. So let's go ahead and adjust that, but let's go ahead and push those tabs, right? We have the ability also to push the tabs to the left instead of the center. 16 looks about right. And then we can just say primary and primary there. And then for the idle color, we'll do secondary background and secondary background. Okay. Now the text is a little larger in ours. So let's go ahead and move that down to maybe like label medium. And that is unselected, and selected will be body large. Okay, cool. And he also has icons. So we can actually jump in here and we can set icons here. So let's do that. And let's say charge. Our icons will not look as beautiful as his. Um, hmm, lightning. Do we get something? I'll just do icons, right? Let's align horizontally. Again, another thing that is just awesome. A small update that the team did right there. And we'll say activity. So we could essentially do this. Maybe this is actually like a chart, right? Yeah, something like that. So We'll do that. And then this guy is messages, and this little guy is notifications. That's great. This is going to help us, you know, say what icon do we want. We're just going to say forum, if I can spell, the messages there, and align horizontally. Four. I think I have four on that. Yeah. And then let's go ahead and align horizontally four and notification. All right. Sweet. Right. Again, our icons are not as beautiful as Mr. Isaac's, but they work. And we could probably set a little bit. I don't know if you can set the actual height of these tab bar or tab elements. Maybe if we just set to 0. No, I guess they do have an implicit height. So, all right, that's fine. All right, let's start working on this left side. So first thing I'm going to do is on this column, I want everything to be aligned to the left because as you can see, everything is aligned to the left. So here, 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 right? This group here, some rows and icons here, dividers here, all good. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the column and say cross-axis alignment left. And we can also set a little bit of padding on this column. So we can do like 16. And now as we drag a small image in here, we'll just make that a little smaller, maybe like 100 by 100. And we'll set the border radius to 60. Cool. I actually think that it's like maybe 60 anyways. So let's do that. 60, 60. And there is a circle like image. I just hate it. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the circle image because you can't go from circle to rectangle if I wanted to. Let's drag a text element in here and let's make it a little larger. And as you'll see, like I will always be utilizing, um, our text styles. Okay. So if you want to build robust applications in FlutterFlow, if you want to build robust applications, period, please utilize a design system because it makes it scalable for everybody, not just you, right? Maybe it's easier to just be like, oh, okay, this is 20 pixels, right? Well, instead of changing it here and then changing it in 20 other places, let's just go here, right? And let's say, this 20, maybe we want to utilize this 22. Let's make this a normal font, right? Now let's go ahead and update the text, the font family as well. Let's go ahead and do Fig Tree. And then this one, maybe we have Instrument Sans. Yeah. Okay. These are a little less personality than Outfit and Plus Jakarta Sans, but they're very solid. They have just enough personality. I really, really love both of these. So we'll do that. And then we can adjust this, right? We can go down to headline small or maybe even title large, something like that. Looks really good. And then let's go ahead. We have an up to date. So we have a status here. So I'm gonna do a thing. Whenever building layouts, right? When we're just building layouts, sometimes it can be very okay, sorry, I'm trying to keep track of the comments. Learn proper UI design fundamentals. Pretty good at building all the pages and whatnot, but UI looks trash. This is very common. Very common. Yes. I mean, no code UI. I have design courses up there. There's also some really good UI. Adrian has a good design course. I'll try to have some resources on No Code UI website of just like great places to learn UI design. But I'll have courses up there. I have a few courses in the works. The Capstone project is getting some of the videos there, which is beneficial. But yeah, that's what I would say for now. Is go to UI Adrian. I think there's like basic principles of UI design. There's a bunch of courses that are like 200, 300 that I would recommend. So, all right, we have this and 8 and accent 2. Okay. And like I said, we want to build best practices. So this is going to be a tag and I'm going to make it a component. So tag, sweet. And then we're going to just throw in a little text element here. And we're going to wrap that text element in a row, right? We're going to center align everything. And then we can add some padding to this right there. Okay, cool. What that row does is it constrains the container when we actually throw this into a design. So right now it has an implied height. We remove that height, this will actually grow. So I think it's up to date, right? That's the status. Now this component, we want to update it, we want to change it, right? So we can actually set this status from a component parameter. We can do it just a string, so text, or we could set, yeah, we'll just do status. Let's go, sorry, user details. Nice. So now we can set that text from here, but that's only if you want like a single designed or a single color tag, right? This will be up to date, right? Isn't that beautiful? And then if we wanted to like duplicate it and we want to say, uh, you know, doctor, you can do that. But you may want a tag that has dynamic color, right? Now, again, beautiful. Whoa, where did our edit go? Uh-oh, this isn't good. Oh, I bet you if I double click, I still want that edit button on the top right. I really do. I'm gonna be honest, FlutterFlow. I do really want that edit button. Top right, please. Please keep it. Please keep it. So, um, yeah, it's sort of removed. We had an edit button up here. But yeah, now we can adjust the style of that tag throughout, and you're going to utilize these things throughout. I mean, you're going to do them in tables. You're going to do them in uh, this card. Everywhere you see a user, etc. So make sure to build this in a way that makes sense. So what I usually do, is I do enums. Right, we're just going to say like status, and we could say. For this one, maybe we'll just do the colors, right? Maybe the text will be whatever, but the colors will be different. So status could be, uh, we'll just say green, right? Or we'll say primary, secondary, tertiary. I don't know if I spelled that right. I didn't. Of course not. And neutral. So typically these statuses would be something related to your project, right? But I'm going to just utilize this status as, again, we'll just jump right in. I'm going to also pass in a parameter here, and I'm going to say status, and I'm going to choose that widget builder. Oh, it's going to be fun. Status here, required. And what this is going to do is it now gives us something to do our conditional styling on. So this could be a primary status, a secondary one, right? It could be different colors based off of the status. So how you do that is conditional value, condition, right? That parameter equals, I'm just going to copy this for now though, paste primary, and we're going to do our uh, primary. This is the border, so that's fine. And then alternate, and then again, we're going to do this primary, secondary, and we'll make it our secondary, and then primary, or sorry, this will be tertiary. Perfect. And then the last one we don't need actually. So tertiary. And the last one will just be neutral. Okay. Now we can copy and paste that over to here. And we'll adjust this to accent 1, accent 2, accent 3, and accent 4. All right. Or you could do primary background, whatever you want. Okay. Now that will change the color of this. Okay. We're going to do secondary, because secondary is our green color. All right. Sorry. I know that took a little bit longer to explain, but it'll prove very beneficial in the future. So I'm going to, one second. Oh, I need to turn on my web platform for this project. So let's go ahead and do that. Web. And let's see if we can get a test mode up and running. All right, so here, and then we have a card view here. And this card view, again, maybe has like a tag. Those have icons, so we could again create something that does that. But for now, let's just throw a container in here. I already have some elevations or some styles, preset styles. Oh, I want this to be 8 and box shadow. And we can just make this all the way. Nice. And then we're going to drag in a column here because we have nested elements. So we have a text and then it looks like a wrap maybe or a row. I would do a wrap because we want maybe more than one. Uh, yeah, we want more than one, right? So like this is groups. So doctors, admins. It could be like doctors, admins, associates, something else. So we want to wrap in here. And we want this again to go to the left. We can adjust padding, do 12. And in this wrap, we can just do this, right? And this container, we can remove the height and we can set some padding there, right? Again, I love the principles. Don't repeat yourself. So utilize item spacing as much as possible, groups, and then these neutrals, right? So doctors, we're going to do this without we're going to say neutral here. And we'll say admins, right? It's going to be neutral as well. And you're like, hey, what about the spacing between these guys? So instead of, adding padding here to the tag or padding here to the tag, we can select the parent widget, the wrap, and we can apply spacing here, there, and there. And the reason why I removed the height off the container is if you had more tags, you would want them to grow. So you want that container to grow. All right, sick. Now we're going to get into just these rows. So we're going to add a row in here. And in this row, we want an icon and we want a text. Okay. And again, right, we want this in multiple places. So if you can see this, right, there's a bunch of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 of these guys. Okay. So how do we build something that's sustainable? Well, let's build another component and let's just call it list, icon list, right? So let's do that. We're just going to call this, I'm going to preface it with the UI function. So list icon left. All right. And then again, we can set these from a parameter. So we can just say create new parameter, title. It'll be like phone. Okay. And we can set the icon as well. And I'll preset it to like phone. Perfect. Now the problem with this is icon. Oop, icon. All right. Gonna have to set it every single time, which is a little annoying at first, but we'll say 1. We're just gonna copy what he has. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. All right. So phone. Now the beauty of this is, let's say we wanted to add some padding, or we wanted to update this to gray instead, right? I think it's he may have like a opacitated gray instead of black here. So instead of saying, well, yeah, instead of saying, let's select, we can just dive into here. So let's double click and we can change this guy to our medium and change this icon. We'll have to adjust that here. We will have to do that. Come Come on now, FlutterFlow, you should be a little easier. Should be a little easier to do this. But again, not so bad. And if we wanted to create this as an action, we could do that, right? We could pass an action in as a parameter as well. And we want some dividers. So let's do that. I already have a good bit of the way through. Okay, I'm going to change this to 1 pixel. Adding that, and then user at domain.com, email. Perfect. And then these dividers probably want to do like maybe an 8 pixel height, something like that. Okay. I'm just duplicating, just pressing duplicate. So, okay, because we have a few. We have that, and then a birthday, birthday. So maybe September 20th, 2001. Yeah. Let's see if we have a birthday cake. Perfect. Cake. And we have another one. So building. Yeah. Just work. Okay. What elevation is? Alex. Good question, Alex. Yeah, dude. So elevation is from material design and it sucks. I'm just kidding. I'm sort of kidding. It doesn't necessarily suck. It's very drastic. It's very drastic with a D. So I'm not a huge fan of it. And what it is it's a preset drop shadow. So if you look at material design guidelines, they talk about this idea of paper and a surface. So things that are further away from the surface have a higher elevation because they have like a larger shadow. So it all has to go back to like 3D space where they're bringing like flat design into um, a digital interface, right? Like flat design is just like everything, no drop shadows, everything is just like colors, which I love. It's like very simple. Skeuomorphism is like everything tries to look realistic. So like the first iOS, the first like iPhones had skeuomorphic designs. And now we're sort of in the place where we're trying to combine those two. So elevation is simply preset values for drop shadows. But those, again, they're preset. And by that, I mean, you don't change them. You can't change them. You can change the the intensity of them, right? You can change the intensity of them, but you cannot change the color of them or the blur or anything else. So I prefer on my containers, I prefer a box shadow personally. It's a lot more, right? We can set this from a theme. We can set this from, just we can set the opacity of the black essentially of the shadow. So I'm a big fan of just drop shadows. Okay, so we have this, and his text is a little lighter, right? It's a little lighter, and it's like a regular. So again, let's tackle the power of the component. Here, instead of label small or label medium, I'm going to go label small, and I'm going to change my label small to normal, and I'll just change all my labels to normal because that seems to be um, what he's done. So perfect. Okay, that's much better. So we're getting closer, right? We're getting closer. Again, icons sort of suck, but they're working. They're working. Okay. For now, that'll be it because I want to dive into um, this side view, right? The tab bar, the activity view here, because we can actually do this. So I'm going to select activity. I'm going to just find activity content views. We already have something very similar to this. So I'm going to drag that in here. And we're just going to adjust this design. This is probably my most utilized component from the templates in FlutterFlow. I sort of love it. I'm like mildly obsessed with it. because I think it's very powerful and it makes sense for a lot of things. So what we don't need is this avatar, right? And what we're going to do is we can remove half of these things because we don't need them. So go ahead and make those really small and we'll remove them. And then these containers, we have them as circles. I think they're just like 8 pixels. And the border width is 1, and it'll be alternate. And this will be primary. All right, cool. Sweet. All right. And then what we need to do is we need to remove this like 2, maybe 4. That's perfect. Okay. All right, you know what? 4 is not perfect. We have to do like 6 or 5. All right, cool. And we're going to do this. How we're getting this is we're just offsetting a border. And so we will change that to alternate. And now we can maybe do 4. Okay, cool. And then these names, right? We can change this to 16 or whatever we need. 24. Perfect. Okay. And if we wanted to, we could drag this name into the column. Aha, it looks like it's um looky there. We have a row up here. This is expanded. So let's go ahead and set this row. Let's set some spacing in between. Right. So we set 8 pixels, so we can do 16 on this. And on this row, let's go ahead and do bottom. Okay. Now we can really see this, really get in there. All right. I don't think anything's going to work. 4. Perfect. All right. We're going to do 6. And then we're going to set this to be like 10. All right. Yeah, that's going to be it. It's it's struggling because it's 1 pixel and it's 1 pixel off. So we're going to call that good. And we're going to adjust this. So they have rich text element, right? So we have, this would be a rich text element because you're going to want to do date, right? And you have Wednesday, October 23rd, and then 2024, and then 10:15 a.m. So we can do all of that. But what we'll do is we will do it label small, and we will convert this to, we can replace this for a rich text. Isn't that great? You could also do a combined text if you wanted to, but we'll do Wednesday, and I'll actually do it, right? We'll do what we would do. So we'll do current date or current time, and we'll do datetime format. We have Wednesday, September 19th. So we don't have the 3rd. We don't have like the ending, but we do have Thursday, September 29th, and then uh, we can add a space here, and we can do current time, datetime format, and we'll try to just grab the year if possible. So I think we'll have to do something custom. Probably just, oh, here we can just do custom, not 7. We'll just do Y. And again, we will add a space or a comma and a space, and then we'll just add current time, datetime format, and JM. Nice. All right, that's perfect. And then we have another rich text element here. And I can remove this guy, add that. And we'll say this will be a name. So John Carpenter is what he has. John Carpenter. And he has the style of this. So this is bold. I think we can do like medium, right? Yeah, I think that's about right. And then we have our primary color. Um, yeah, and we would create this as a component as well, right? We pass this stuff in. Sorry, I'm just trying to hit. Boop, boop, boop. Perfect. Okay. All right. All right. All right. We'll do that. This guy, we're gonna do 12. Yeah. We're just gonna do 2 on this guy. I think that's gonna make it a little easier. All right. Same thing here. We're gonna do 12. And there you go. There you go. I'll just do 2 on that as well. All right. So we had to adjust it a little bit. All right. We did have to adjust it just slightly. Just slightly. But it'll be pretty close. All right. So we don't need this text over here because we have our date time over here. And we have John Carpenter. He has a body medium added, right? And this one will be Dr. Josephine Randall. All right, this could be a name again, right? Dynamically. So you want that. And then you want a little space and then to the tags. Doctors. Sweet. All right. And let's go ahead. Now that we have it like designed, let's go ahead and make this a component. So we're going to just do list, right? Activity. Perfect. And then we can pass in parameters, right? Sorry, this is a card I created with AI. Pretty good, but not as good as the human one. So here, and then we can just duplicate this, right? Not so bad. Probably want to adjust, right? We have a little bit of space here, mainly due to this guy. So if we jump in, now that we don't have to expand this. So maybe we move this guy down here and we remove the height of it, possibly. That doesn't match the design though. Okay, we're just gonna live with that. All right, not so bad. All right, we have this. And then let's say we have a card here. We can do this card with everything but this border. So that's beautiful. Okay. So Alex, hopefully I explained that elevation to you. But let's go ahead and show what it looks like, right? To have this conditional something, right? So we're going to just dive into this and we're going to pass in a parameter. And we're going to say show card. We have to do camel case. And it's just going to be a Boolean for now. Okay. Let's go ahead and add a container in here. Right. And on this container, it'll be like 12 pixels. All right. And we're going to apply this primary color to it. And we'll add the re-add the padding back. We'll make it like 400 maybe pixels. Yeah. And then we will add a column. And for now, just for sake of this, I'm going to increase the height to like 1 or 200. Let's go ahead and add a container in here because we want that top portion to be probably 40 pixels. And we want it slightly like that. 8. and 8, and we'll just make it full width. Nice. So here you can see, right? We have some pretty cool. And we can now add a row in this container. 12 pixels on the left, 12 pixels on the right. Add a text element here. We'll say Dr. Josephine Jacobson, and we'll make this our primary text. And we'll have a date time on the right, and we're going to make that our normal text probably. That's what he has in his, and we'll set it to like 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Very cool. And then we have a small little, again, right? Maybe we have some, we can actually add a drop shadow here to this little guy, and we're going to add it as an accent 1. And remove the blur and do 1. Hi. Do 1 pixel. Let's see that. It doesn't make any difference at all. We're going to remove that. That's stupid. We will add a divider. Okay. Perfect. And we'll just give it that primary color. Solid. Dotted. Oh, dude. Nice. Dotted. Dashed. I think it is. Dash dotted. Yeah, well, look at us. We do have a dotted border. I think we just want it to be 1 thickness. That works. Wish I could add some more customization to it, but for now, that definitely works. And we will add another small container in here. Let's go ahead and do 44. It's going to be accent 1, 44 border radius. On the column, again, we can do cross-axis alignment. And then I'm going to wrap this one in a column as well, because I'm just going to apply the padding I want to that column. Okay. And then some spacing. So we'll do that. So we're going to do text down here. And on this column, we'll do left. Okay. So here we want the dentist appointment schedule. And then here and here, we can do label small. Perfect. And we'll do a phone number here. 1. Perfect. And this is our email. So name@domain.com. All right. And then we have a small avatar image and a text element. So we'll do a width or a row. We'll do 12 pixels, or actually 8 pixels. 8 pixels. And we'll do a text element here and an image here. And then we can remove the width of this container. Set this to minimum and 8 pixels in between. And then let's go ahead and set this to like 20 pixels by 20 pixels. Maybe even 24. 24 by 24 and 24. So it's a round image and a name. And here we have like Ronnie Coleman. Okay, not so bad. We can add additional padding here. And then we can remove the height on this container overall, because we just did it so we could actually see what we're doing. And then again, we can add more spacing at the bottom, or we can add padding to the column itself. So in spacing or padding, this is where it comes into like personal preference, right? Do you use in spacing on columns, or do you use padding? I always like to grab the parent container here. So, okay. And then we can basically say, if this is a type of activity, then show this. So we'll do that. We'll say conditional show card. All right, that's all we're doing now. Technically, like when you're actually building out this card or this activity, right? You're going to pass in a type, or you're going to pass in, like an appointment type, right? And if the appointment exists, then this is the appointment card. And I would probably make this a component in and of itself, and I would make this a component as well. Okay. So again, all of those things you can build components within components within components. And with the new widget builder, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Dude, we would be able to next week, when it's live and I've played around with it a little bit, we'll do this. Okay. We're gonna that's the beauty of the widget builder, right? You can create this as a component. I'm creating it as a component right now. Right now. So card, appointment. Well, we're gonna do that. We're going to. So next week, we're gonna turn this guy, right? We're gonna be able to select what type of thing goes into here. But um, let's go ahead and say show card, right? And then all of these, we need this to scroll. So we're going to remove this and do this. Okay, cool. And then on this, we're going to just select all of these containers or all of these components and set padding on them, because we want this list view to expand and to scroll. There you go. Cool. Sick. Awesome. Perfect. Um, yeah, that's how you essentially do this stuff. So that's how you build in FlutterFlow. And then if we create this, I have 2 minutes. So I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to just add a flow, because we said web application, right? We said web application. So I'm going to, come on. Yep. Please don't ever take this away from us. Okay. FlutterFlow, don't ever take this away. Main screens. This is like my favorite thing to do ever. Sweet main screens. And we're going to say, patience. Okay. And I'm going to just throw this in a column and that in a column. Throw that on the left. And let's wrap that in a row. And then let's throw a button in here, right there. And again, let's go ahead and add some spacing here. And then we can do like space in between. And I'm just going to say like view user, right? And we're going to do a custom dialog, and we're going to select that modal user details. We're going to set a barrier color. So best practice, always set a barrier color, right? It's always going to be beneficial. And we have this here. Last thing we need, right, is that X on the far right. So let's wrap this little fella in a stack, and let's go ahead and throw in an icon button. I'm just going to throw it in the stack. Sick. And we are going to adjust style, primary or secondary background, and close icon here, and secondary text. And then let's go ahead and move it to the right top, and we can set the sizing of it by padding. Okay, sick. I think he has a small little divider. So I'm going to select this divider. I'm going to say thickness 1, right? And then we're going to also add a divider up top here in this column. Okay. And this divider is also going to be 1 and 1. Okay, sick. And then this, we're going to have to collapse or dismiss. Okay. All right. Looking really good. Last thing, right? We're 1 minute over, but I really, really want you to know that you can do animations and that they improve certain user interactions, right? So we're going to do this, and we're going to just tilt a little bit. We're just going to tilt just a tiny bit, just 50 or so. Oh, no, that's way too much tilt. We're going to tilt 10. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay, cool. All right. Let's go ahead and make sure this Webflow 1 is our main screen. So let's go to app details and Webflow 1. Of course, when I actually want to test this, we crash. Okay, that's okay. We can also preview this. Perfect. Looky there. Looky there. That's all we needed. We're not seeing the dynamicness, right? So this will only show um, when that is toggled on, but not bad, right? See that small little interaction? It's not bad at all. So we'll do dark mode and looky there. There you go. You have that activity stream in here, and I'm very, very, yeah, very happy with that. So thank you, Isaac Sanchez, for providing inspiration for us. Really appreciate it. So awesome. I hope that this live stream was beneficial and helpful. Yeah, hopefully it was beneficial and helpful. And thank y'all for joining. Oh, we have a decent amount of people, mostly on Twitter. Thank you all for joining on Twitter. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the support. And yeah, that's just again, there's just UI. It's UI design. It's building basics. So utilizing components. Don't repeat yourself. Don't repeat yourself. Love that. Freaking yes, please. Thank you. I think Leah and Will both mentioned that. Don't repeat yourself. Do something once and then allow it to carry through. So build with components is going to be very beneficial. Awesome. Switch text as opposed to regular text. Alex, great question to end on. Um, go ahead and end on that. So rich text allows us to stylize the text, okay, easily. So, and it wraps. That's another reason, because it wraps. So this little guy, if we were to, I don't know, I guess we could do this in a wrap. We could put all of this text in a wrap and then just drag and drop multiple text elements. But rich text is just a little, yeah, it's a little more expansive. So, and then it'll automatically wrap like naturally, just like any other paragraph. So that's why I use rich text. Oh, and this Dr. Josephine Randall, we need to stylize differently, right? We can do that. And we'll just say, give it a secondary, primary. I think he had it as primary. And looky there. That's pretty sick. Awesome. Well, we will see you guys next time.